may please this Honorable Court. This is counsel appearing on behalf of the respondents. For lordship convenience, the counsel would like to produce a brief perusal of the facts of the case, or shall the counsel proceed with the issues in hand? Brief perusal of the facts. Your lordship, the facts of the case starts like, there lives a lady who's Sita Ma, who has practiced, who was born Hindu and a rich, a well-known scheduled caste woman in the village, and later she has been converted to the Christianity at her age of 50 and 30 years of practice, and she has also taken a baptism in the local church. Later, at the age of 82, she is executing a will. In that particular will, the particular clause which talks about that that she wished to be cremated in the Hindu burial ground. After 2 months of the execution, she lasted her breath, and then the petitioners, who is the Prabhakar representing the family, approached the Seva Samiti for a permission to cremate in the Hindu burial ground. Since her conversion plays a major role, since she converted to Christianity, the Seva Samiti refused for the permission. Later on, agreed by that, they are going and approaching the secretary of the church committee for the burial of the deceased. The church committee is refusing by stating the reason of the wish that she has stated in the will is contradicting. So they refuse for the permission. At last, they are approaching the district collector and the village administration, which goes in vain. Further, at last, agreed by all these instances, the petitioners are invoking by filing the writ petition in this Honorable High Court of Andhra Pradesh by invoking the Article 15, 17, 21 and 46 and 243G read along with 11th schedule, and by invoking the SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. Your Lordship, if the bench is well versed, the counsel would like to proceed with the issues in hand. Your Lordship, the issues in hand is, Your Lordship, whether the counsel is audible? The issues in hand is whether the religious denomination have the right to establish or maintain the religious institution under the Article 25 and 26 of the Constitution of India. If yes, whether a burial ground or a crematorium can be established on basis of religion. Your Lordship, the counsel on behalf of the respondent would like to take this issue in a twofold manner. The first manner is it would be violative of Article 25. The second fold is it would be violative of the Article 26 of the Constitution, which guarantees the right to every religious denominations. Dealing with the first fold, it would be violative of Article 25. The counsel would like to substantiate it. Your Lordship, the Article 25 guarantees the right of freedom to religion irrespective of any religion to every individual. Article 25 is the individual freedom. Your Lordship, here in this instant case, Sita Ma, as the counsel already stated the facts of the case, she is born Hindu and later she has converted to Christianity. And at the time of execution of will also, she is signing the will as Mary. So it is very clear that she has lasted her breath as a Christian, and allowing a Christian to be cremated in an Hindu burial ground, it will affect the rights of the village people. Since they could not able to freely practice their own religion to substantiate it. In the case of PA Metropolitan versus Moran Martuma, the Honorable Supreme Court have held that religion is the belief which binds supernatural of men to supernatural being. It includes worship, belief, faith and devotion, and extends to rituals. Point to be noted, Your Lordship, it extends to rituals. Religious right is the right of a person believing in a particular faith to practice it, to preach it and to profess it. By citing this precedent, it is very clear that it would be a violative of Article 25. Now dealing with the second fold, it would be violative of the religious denomination under the Article 26. Your Lordship, it is very pertinent to note that every religious denomination, as per the Article 26, it states that every religious denomination, by exercising their right under Clause A, they have the right to establish the institution for religious purposes or for charitable purposes. So here the counsel would like to contend that the Seva Samiti, which has been established by a religious denomination of the Hindu, and they have the right to maintain the own matters of their religion by exercisement of the right under the Article 26 subclause B, which guarantees to maintain the own matters of religion. The same applies to the Christian burial ground. The Christian denomination which established this church committee, which by exercising the right under the Article 26 clause A, and they have the right to maintain their own matters of a religion. Now, dealing this with the Christian burial ground, the council would like to deal first with the Christian burial ground. It's very clear from the facts of the case that the deceased, who is no more, has stated that she wished to be cremated in the Hindu burial ground. Your Lordship, point to be noted, it can be inferred from the statement made by the deceased that she has wished in such a way as she is aware of the facts that Christianity does not allow for the cremation, or the cremation cannot be taken in the Christian burial ground. By knowing all these facts, she is by aware of all these facts, since she has stated that the cremation has to be done in the Hindu burial ground. Your Lordship, the entire conversion offer cannot be denied of a 30 years of practice. And the learned petitioner in the memorandum, they have mentioned that even after the conversion, the previous religion of faith and the practices will continue. It could not be said that they could not do that. So, Your Lordship, the petitioners are seeking to exercise the right of both the religion. So, it will be totally contrary to Your Lordship. Your Lordship, the common principles of the Christian law, it is not common to practice the cremation. It is not common to practice the cremation. And also, it is pertinent to note that allowing a convert of from a Hindu to a Christianity, it will be totally violative of the religious denomination right which is enshrined under the Article 26 of the Constitution, since she doesn't have a belief to be buried. Your Lordship, it is very clear that the Christian customary law follows the aspect of burying the dead body. So, from this religious belief, the religious denomination have the right to refuse for the petitioners. If Your Lordship are satisfied, in the case of Govindalaju versus the state of Rajasthan, the council also submitted, for Your Lordship convenience, the compendium. It is mentioned that in the case of Govindalaju versus the state of Rajasthan, the term matters of religion, page number, Your Lordship, the term matters of religion used in Article 26b is synonymous with the term religion in Article 25(1). So it is very clear that it has to be read along with the particular term of religion under the Article 25. The very particular term of religion has to be read along with the Article 26b of the matters of religion. So it is very clear that the constitutional right, which is given by the Constitution under the Article 25 and the 26, that the religious denomination have the right to refuse it, and hence it has been justified that there is a derogatory thing that has been done by either of the burial grounds by stating for the refusal of the permission. Your Lordship, here in this instant case, the facts of the case are very clear. At the last para, the petitioners have invoked the Article 25. Your Lordship, already the council has stated, if at all the respondent have granted the either of the burial ground, of course it will violate the religious right of the public and also the rights of a religious denomination. So it is very justified that granting the either of the burial grounds will lead to the violation of Article 25 and 26. This has been applied in the case of Acharya Maharaja Sri Narendra Prasji versus the state of Gujarat. Is held that no right in an organized society can be absolute. In the page number 39 of the submitted compendium, enjoyment of one's right must be consistent with the enjoyment by the right also by others. Your Lordship, when I claim a right, it should be in such a way that the opposite party's rights are also not violated. It is not the constitution of India, or even the law is not only concerned about the individual. The law is not only concerned about the one side, but both the sides. So the exercisement of one right, it should not be a violative of the larger public or even the religious denomination. If Your Lordship satisfied, the council would like to move to the second issue. Whether the provisions of the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Prevention of the Atrocities Acts 1989 are being violated. It is most humbly submitted before your Lordship that the council already substantiated the reason why the Christian burial ground and even the Hindu burial ground are denied the permission or refused the permission to cremate or even bury the deceased in the burial ground. So, Your Lordship, there is no caste-based discrimination. There is no caste-based discrimination in this instant case. The Scheduled Caste Act is very clear on a predominant three things, that the atrocity has to be done by a non-SC/ST against an ST/ST, and there should be an intention to humiliate the victim by a casteist attack. Here in this instant case, the facts of the case are very clear that there is no such an intention for either of the respondents in this instant case to deny or to attack the petitioners by stating their caste is. And also it is pretending to note, Your Lordship, that yes, by including both the issues, at last the council would like to quote that the invocation of the article, the Scheduled Caste and the Scheduled Tribes Act, it seems to be a misuse over in this instant case, as Your Lordship rightly pointed out to the learned petitioners, that the section 3ZA applies to only to the common property. The common property, the common burial ground of the common cremation and not for a particular religion. So it seems to be a mere misuse of the provision. And also this has been addressed in the case of Union of India, of State of Maharashtra and others. This case dealing with the constitutional validity of the SC/ST Act. It is mentioned that the court should always be concerned of the misuse of the provision of the Act is intended to be taken care. Your Lordship, also the petitioners have invoked the Article 17 of untouchability, and also Your Lordship stating such a big reason of untouchable practice that has been committed by the respondents. It seems to be that they want to claim their rights by stating all those things which has not been done by the respondents. If Your Lordship satisfy the council, I would like to leave the podium for my co-counsel.
No doubt it is with regard to offences, but then indirectly certain substantive rights have been conferred with regard to access to certain facilities in the society. And petitioners are SCs because they remained Hindus, leave alone the deceased. Now this denial of access to both the burial grounds, both of them refused. So how do you see it? How do you say that the Act is only intended to have a trial for offences, or does the Act indirectly confer certain substantive rights which are not elaborated in any other law with regard to protection of the rights? No, the Act is also a protection of rights of the.
Your Lordship, indeed, Your Lordship, the Supreme Court in the plethora of cases it has mentioned that even the High Court had held that the SC/ST Act can be invoked only in the special courts, because the threshold of proving the SC/ST Act is a big process, and it even cannot be presumed in this instant case, Your Lordship, because stating that an ex-person has done a caste attack, it includes a various component that has to be proven. And yet, since because there is a refusal of a permission, it cannot be stated that there is an intent-based caste discrimination. So, Your Lordship, it is a well-versed that already the council on behalf of the respondents substantiated the reason for the refusal of both the burial grounds. And the point to be noted, Your Lordship, that the respondents are now in a dilemma of to which religion actually the deceased belong to. Because at one particular point of time, they are stating that she has been an Hindu, and after her conversion, in her will she is writing that she wants to be cremated in an Hindu burial ground, and in the will she is signing that she is a Christian as Mary, a converted name. So, Your Lordship, the respondents in this instant case would want to take a safer stand by directing the petitioner to access the nearest electric crematorium. We are also concerned about the wish, and we are also concerned about the public rights. So, if Your Lordship does it, any question, the council can leave the podium to the highly obliged.
Lordship, the council seeks permission to begin. Your Lordship, before getting, I will be basically dealing with the third and the fourth issue regarding whether there is violation of fundamental rights and have the public authority, whether the district collector and the public authorities, whether the district collector and the village administrator have failed to perform their duties. Your Lordship, before getting straight into my arguments, I would like to substantiate our set of arguments by which defend the arguments of the petitioners, Your Lordship. The petitioners relied mainly on three judgments: Kalai Selvi versus the district collector, Ashray Adhikar Abhiyan versus Union of India, and Muhammad Latif versus Union Territory territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Your Lordship, it is pertinent to note that Kalai Saili was district collector's judgment pronounced by Honorable Madras High Court, and it only has a persuasive value on the Honorable High Court of this bench. It does not put any mandate that the judgments and the ratio decidenda of that judgment should completely be followed. Also, Your Lordship, dealing with Ashray Adhikar Abhiyan in the Union of India, which dealt with right to decent burial. Your Lordship, the Council for the Respondents accept that Article 21 is inclusive of right to decent burial, but there is another extension to it which states right to decent burial according to religious rights of the deceased, Your Lordship. The basic question here is what the religion of the deceased is.
Silence, please. Silence.
What the religion of.
You were saying that Article 21, right to decent burial has an extension with regard to religious rights.
Yes, Your Lordship. To read the same paragraph which the learned petitioners read, in case of Muhammad Latif versus Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the judgment goes, the right of next kin of the deceased to have their dear one cremated or buried as per the religious obligation and religious belief that the dead person professed during his lifetime. Here in this instant case, Sitama alias Mary, she was a Hindu for 50 years of her life, then she converted herself into Christianity. In her last years of her life, she writes a will bequeathing her property, and in that she adds a clause that she needs to be cremated in the Hindu burial ground, and she signs the will as Mary. Your Lordship, here there is a clear confusion as to what religion the deceased belonged to, because she has taken baptism, she has professed Christian religion, and there is no reason why she should opt for cremation, particularly in the Hindu burial ground. First of all, Your Lordship, cremation itself is against the general principles of Christianity. Also, she has particularly mentioned that she wants to be cremated in the Hindu burial ground. This itself causes a confusion. There might be a question of reconversion back to her original religion, Your Lordship. Even then, this cannot also be said as a complete reconversion, because if she intended to reconvert to her original religion, she would not sign the will as Mary. She has signed the will as Mary. As stated by the petitioners, they say they accept the point that she was a Christian, and they also say that she grew up in an environment and the cultures are imbibed in her heart, and she wants to follow the rites and rituals and cultures followed by the Hindu religion. Your Lordship, Article 25 does grant the right to freedom to profess religion, but it should be noted it is not right to freedom to profess religions. It is right to freedom to profess any religion. The petitioner can only profess.
Nothing to do with the law. Yes. You know, we have a tradition in India that we should not cast any aspersions negatively to the dead person. The point is that her intentions are to be looked at in a positive manner. Maybe that in the last days of her life she might thought that her entire family is with the Hindu religion. She wanted to, maybe she might have felt something like rethinking. So don't cast any negative aspersions. You can make out an argument based on law, but that is our tradition, is it not? We have to give respect. And if the court discusses about her mental status at the time, and she was, it is not in tune with the ordinary people's thinking and all, it's not.
Your Lordship, Your Lordship, the argument that the Council for the Respondents tried to put forth is a person cannot get derived benefits out of multiple religions. That was the point that the Council was trying to put forth, Your Lordship. Moving on, they said the Council for the Petitioners, they mentioned that caste continues even after her conversion. Your Lordship, according to definition given in the SC/ST Act, Article 341, Article 366, and the Presidential Order, it is...
Is it your argument that caste continues even after the conversion?
Indeed, yes, Your Lordship, this is mentioned in their memorandum. According to the stated provisions and the Presidential Order, caste, a person being in a scheduled caste or a scheduled tribe community, they do not carry their caste after their conversion, Your Lordship. So there cannot be any caste-based discrimination based on the caste of Sitama nor the caste of the relatives, Your Lordship. Also, fundamental rights of the deceased are died when the person dies. Here, the petitioners claim fundamental rights for the deceased, Your Lordship. Except for Article 21, there is no other article or no other fundamental rights which can be claimed for the deceased. Moving on, Your Lordship, the petitioner stated that when the wish is reasonable, the state should not interfere in the wish of the deceased, the last wish of the deceased. Here, the major question is, what is reasonable, and is the wish of Sitama alias Mary is reasonable, Your Lordship? She professed Hinduism, she converted herself into Christianity, and she wants to be cremated in the Hindu burial ground. The counsel for the respondents put forth an argument that this wish itself is not reasonable. She cannot derive benefits out of multiple religions, Your Lordship. Also, the petitioners accept that the Sitama was Christian till the end of her life and her conversion is valid. If so, they should have added a prayer that they also want, if at all the Hindu burial ground cannot be given, they should have made an alternate prayer seeking for the Christian burial ground. Seen from page number 27 of the memorandum of the petitioners, they have only claimed for the Hindu burial ground and not for the Christian burial ground, Your Lordship. They also accept the conversion. Saying that a Christian woman cannot be definitely given a place to be cremated or buried in the Hindu burial ground. This would definitely affect the rights of the other Hindus, other Hindu people living in that particular village, Your Lordship. I'd like to move to my set of arguments and the issues dealt by me, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, first dealing with, is there any violation of fundamental rights under Article 15, 17, 21 and 25? As already stated by the council, it must be noted that there is no fundamental right except Article 21 for the deceased. Considering the other article, if they are violated for Prabhakar, the petitioner, the council would like to substantiate on the same. Your Lordship, regarding to Article 15, Article 15 deals with prohibition of discrimination mainly on 5 grounds: religion, caste, race, place of birth and sex. Here, Your Lordship, place of birth, sex and race, they are not connected with the facts. Only religion and caste, according to the petitioner, are affected here. The council would like to substantiate on these two. Your Lordship, religion. Here, nor the Hindu burial ground, the Christian burial ground, they did not state the exact religion of the deceased for denying her burial. If it was not for her will and the particular clause in her will, she would automatically got a place to be buried in the Christian burial ground. It was the confusion caused by that particular clause in her will that the Christian burial ground authorities deny her burial, Your Lordship. Moving on to untouchability, Article 17. Your Lordship, as already stated by my co-counsel, untouchability is a very vast word and it is a very big offence and it can also be termed as a crime under SC/ST Act. Untouchability in particular is not defined in Constitution, nor in any of the articles, nor in any acts. Anywhere it is not defined. Getting into the judgments of the Apex Court, the Supreme Court of India, it is defined untouchability has a direct connection with the caste system of the person. Here, Your Lordship, nor the Hindu burial ground, nor the Christian burial ground state the caste of the religion for the denial of the burial grounds, Your Lordship. Also, in the many cases like Prithviraj Chauhan case, Lakshman case, and Devaraj versus Padmana case, which was cited by the petitioner, in all these cases the same was stated. Untouchability, offence against SC/ST has a direct connection with the class of their birth. It is only when the offender intends to humiliate or discriminate the victim on basis of their caste, stating their caste name, only then the SC/ST Act and the Article 17 can be attracted, Your Lordship. Moving on to Article 21, as already substantiated, in the cases stated by the petitioners itself, all the cases state it is right to decent burial according to religion of the deceased. What is the religion of the deceased is the biggest question here, Your Lordship. If it was not for the confusion that was caused by her will, this problem and the case would not be here in front of the bench. Moving on, Your Lordship, moving on to Article 25, freedom to profess religion. In freedom to profess religion, she herself is converted into Christianity and there was no bar, there was no coercion, there was no external attacks which was made on her, and this statement was accepted by the petitioner in their memorandum. They stated that there was no coercion. It was free of, it was out of her own will, and she willfully converted into Christianity. At the time of her conversion, the state did not put any bar, nor did say that in order for you to be buried, you should be in the Hindu burial ground. You should belong to Hinduism. None of these was stated at her time of conversion, Your Lordship. The deceased was allowed to practice any religion of her wish. It is that the religion practiced by the deceased, she should have asked for her last rites to also in conformity with the religion she practiced in the end. Here it is not the case, Your Lordship. She was a Christian when she died, but she asked for a rite which from her former religion. This itself is arbitrary, Your Lordship. Moving on, whether the district collector and the village panchayat have failed to perform their duty. The learned counsel for the petitioner, they have stated Article 46 for this, Your Lordship. Article 46 belongs to Part 4 of Directive Principles of State Policy. Hence, by Article 37, they are not enforceable by any court of law. Also, Your Lordship, here the Hindu burial ground authorities and the Mahaprasthanam Seva Samiti and the Christian burial ground authorities, they are formed under religious denomination, and they have the right to manage their own issues regarding the matters relating to their institution. Who should be admitted in the burial ground is a matter of decision of their own will, Your Lordship. In the case Commissioner of HREC versus Lakshmandra, it was said the religious denomination has complete autonomy to decide on the matters which essentially involves their own religious practices, Your Lordship. If the petitioners remained as a Christian and the Christian burial ground authorities denied her burial, then it is very rightful for them to climb in front of this road. But that is not the case, Your Lordship. They climbed for cremation, particularly in cremation. This is not the general practice that is followed by the Christian people. Also, leaving cremation apart, she is particularly asked, she could have left with cremation. She did not stop there, and she went to an extent that she wants cremation in Hindu burial ground. If shown, she should have signed the will as Sitama, which also she did not do. She signed it as Mary. So it is only this dilemma which made the secretary of both the burial grounds deny her burial and cremation accordingly, Your Lordship. In the case of Ratilal versus State of Bombay, it was held that the state cannot interfere with things which are essentially religious. Here, whether Sitama was Christian, should she be allowed to be buried in the Christian burial ground is a matter of decision of the Christian burial ground authorities, in which the state cannot interfere. Your Lordship, the counsel for the respondents understand the point that there should be a strike of balance between the collective rights of the collective public and rights of the individuals. Here, if at all, we state that there will be a chaos and the public order will be disrupted and Sitama's burial is not, will not be given in both of the burial grounds, we state this because the right of the public in collective will be affected. Since we also are concerned about the individual rights and right to decent burial of Sitama, we as state take full responsibility for cremation of Sitama in the nearest electric crematorium, and we are not ready to give the Hindu burial ground and the Christian burial ground, as it will disrupt the religious sanctity and their own autonomy, Your Lordship. Here, when we are ready to give the electric crematorium, cremation, it is also according to her wish, and it is also it will also strike a balance between the rights of the both parties. If Your Lordship is satisfied, the council seeks permission to listen. Yes, Your Lordship.
The will relating to cremation in the Hindu burial ground is not valid, because you say that that religion has got the right to follow certain practices in that religion as per the constitution. And what is the justification for the Christian burial ground to refuse?
Your Lordship, there is the clear confusion in her religion. If she did not put that particular clause in her will, if she just wrote the will for dispersing her properties, she would have automatically got a place to be buried in the Christian burial ground.
From the side of the Christian burial ground, what is their response? Not what the deceased wanted. And the Hindu Seva Samiti was entitled to refuse, as you said. Then from the side of the Christian burial ground, what was the justification, real justification to refuse burial? Funeral according to Christian rites. Because admittedly she died as a Christian.
Your Lordship, the point to be noted is she asked for cremation, and it is against Christian principles. And that caused a confusion and a chaos in the minds of the Christian burial authorities whether she still continued to be a Christian. That is the clear reason that they denied burial. Your Lordship. If Your Lordship is satisfied, the Council seeks permission for the prayer. Lordship.
Are you appearing for the Panchayat Raj officer and the district collector?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Lordship.
Is there not any duty on the Panchayat Raj officer and district collector under Article 243G, read with Schedule 11, and Article 243W, read with 12th Schedule, Serial number 14?
We indeed accept the responsibilities and duties put upon the district collector and the village panchayat, Your Lordship. The council would like to shed light on the facts of the case. The petitioners approached the district collector and the village panchayat after negotiating with both the burial grounds, and they did not ask for anything in particular. The facts mentioned, they were left in vain. In vain means they were not successful for what they were asking for. It does not mean that we did not respond or give an alternative remedy, Your Lordship. Also, here the district, since they asked for Christian burial ground and the Hindu burial ground, where they are religious denomination and have their own right in Article 26, nor the district collector, nor the village panchayat, nor the state can interfere with their own rights of the religious denominations, Your Lordship. That is the reason why we could not direct either the Christian burial ground authorities nor the Hindu burial ground authorities to grant us a place for her to be buried or cremated.
Now, please understand that there is a statute which clearly mandates the local authority, also the collector, if it is in a municipal area, municipality. Okay? The collector is a public authority,
Yes,
as well as local authority is also a public officer. They are being mandated by the statute itself that they must see a burial ground is provided. A burial ground is to be provided, and it is for the, you cannot bury the body other than a place of burial. Okay? It is, even if you have a wish to bury or cremate the body in your own premises, that is not permitted because there will be a license to run the burial grounds. So, these public authorities is vested with a duty to provide a facility for cremation as well as bury of dead body in the area. Now, if both the Hindu Seva Samiti as well as Christian Church Committee denies access to those two public places, are they not duty bound? Are they not duty bound to make something or make a direction against any of these two burial grounds, because there are only two burial grounds available in that village? Or are they not duty bound to provide any other place then and there after entertaining the petition? Are they being justified in denying any remedy to the petitioner?
Your Lordship, the fact that
can
was...
I reply against 3 and 4? Respondent 3 and 4, that is Panchayat as well as collector.
Your Lordship, the fact that must be noted is that in the factual matrix, it is given 2 burial grounds are present. Nowhere in the matrix it was given that only 2 burial grounds are there in Sultanpur and in Guntur district. Also, Your Lordship, the state is taking responsibility for the decent burial of the mortal remains of...
See, if state has a duty, to ensure decent disposal of the body in a dignified way, then are they not constitutionally bound to see that Article 21 is respected?
Indeed, yes, Your Lordship. Here, as already stated by the council, the facts mention
Not
that
only that, there is a statute which casts duty on them.
Yes, Your Lordship. As already stated, the factual matrix mentioned that they were left in vain. In vain means they were unsuccessful in getting the demands made by them. As already as stated in our prayer, we are ready to take full responsibility for quick and decent burial of Mary's mortal remains in the nearest electric crematorium present around Sultanpur, Your Lordship.
Just an analogy, patient is in confusion. Can the doctor also be in confusion? The patient, the deceased was in confusion. Are the persons maintaining the burial grounds, they should also be in confusion? That's a question, something out of the box. Not strictly on the sense of law, but it's something out of the box.
Not that deep, there is no.
But if you look at the facts carefully, the woman was highly religious.
Yes,
Is it not?
she belonged to one of the
Highly
council.
religious. And is it not our responsibility as a state to respect the sentiments of a person who is deceased and ensure somehow, convince as an authority, either Hindu religious body or church body to see that the religious sentiments of the woman is respected.
Indeed, yes, Your Lordship. The state do acknowledge their responsibilities and duties cast upon them. As Your Lordship questions, the religious sentiments of Sitama or Mary should be respected. In the same way, the religious sentiments of other people belonging to each religion should also be respected. This is why we wanted to give balance.
The point is so clear, so open. Explaining obvious is difficult according to philosophy. Same is with you now. The point is that here are statutory bodies who has a statutory duty to perform. If they don't perform or if they fail to perform, writ lies against them. Writ of mandamus lies against them. Okay? Now, as for the facts of the case, it is very clear that the petitioner approached the authorities in vain. That means the authorities has not done anything positive to ensure the decent burial for the dead body.
Anything positive according to them, Your Lordship. Their demands, according to the memo submitted by them, was to cremate her body in Hindu burial ground.
No, don't get confused. What they pray is different. Now, as per the facts of the case, the authorities did nothing. That means petitioner came to this court by way of a writ petition because he tried his level best to convince these authorities, you please do something, either this or that. They failed to do it. That's the only reason they have come to the Honorable High Court seeking a writ against them. Writ lies against them. There is a statutory duty. They failed to perform that.
Your Lordship, the council begs to differ here. When they interfere in the religious rights, when the petitioners approached the district collector and the village authorities, they were asking for either Hindu burial ground or the Christian burial ground according to the facts. When the district collector directs any of the burial ground to accommodate Sitama in their burial grounds, it would be a potential factor for communal riots within the...
Don't you think that collector has a responsibility to provide any alternative place where she be cremated or buried?
Yeah,
because he has to provide a public place for burial as well as cremation to all the persons
Yes, sir.
So all the persons, irrespective of their religion, caste, creed, color.
Yes, Your Lordship.
That's what exactly the statute mandates them.
Yes, Your Lordship. That is why we take the responsibility on ourselves, and we guarantee that we are responsible for quick and decent burial of our mortal remains in nearest electric crematorium available in the Guntur district, Your Lordship. If such happens, if cremation is done in electric crematorium in Guntur district, it also satisfies her wish to an extent of being cremated. Also, it does not have anything in religious and it is secular option. It can give a balance between both of their rights, Your Lordship.
How are you going to justify the stand taken by the collector when there is a duty imposed by the Constitution under Article 243W read with Schedule 12? It is very clear. For a moment, forget about the religions. Forget about the religions. She is neither Hindu nor Christian, but there is a dead body in the mortuary. What is to be done by the panchayat officer or by the district collector under 243G 11th schedule and under Article 243W Schedule 12. Is a very clear duty is imposed or cast upon them to deal with situations, but they fail to do so. How are you going to justify?
Yes, Your Lordship. If the district collector took into account the rights of the individual, that is the Sitamma, and they have granted either.
That's why I said don't consider these religions. I am saying, irrespective of their religions, there is a dead body, and there is a duty imposed on the Panchayat Raj and district collector under Article 243G and 243W. Right? It's very clear. Then how do you justify in refusal of cremation by these 3 and 4 respondents?
Your Lordship, that is the whole point of argument of the respondents. We never deny the complete burial or cremation of Sitamma's body. We just say that Hindu burial ground and the Christian burial ground cannot be given because it may be a potential factor for communal riots, and there is a possibility.
That is the reason why I said forget about for a moment about the religion.
Yes,
right? I am not touching the religions at all. But still there is a duty upon the Panchayat Raj officer and collector to deal this disposal of the dead bodies. Even a dead body is found in the middle of the road. It is the duty of them to take care of for proper disposal. But here, the deceased woman, dead body is lying in the mortuary, and the district collector and the Panchayat office are sleeping.
Yes, Your Lordship.
Without taking any proper action.
Your Lordship, that is what the prayer of our respondent as a prayer says. We are not denying complete burial of Sitamma. We do recognize the duty that is cast upon us, and we are ready to take up the responsibility on ourselves and to completely assist the petitioner. Still, her body is cremated in the electric crematorium.
That's why I said forget about the religions for a moment. Okay?
If Your Lordship is satisfied, the Council seeks permission to move.
Your Lordship, in the present case has been submitted by the honorable respondents, the first main thing I would like to highlight is the concept of religious denomination. Your Lordship, I would like to refer you to the respondent memorial, page number 16, Your Lordship. Here, in the case of Commissioner Hindu Religious Endowment versus Lakshmendra Tirtha Swamiyar, in this case, the term religious denomination is defined, Your Lordship. The main word to be noted is the religious sect. It is not about religion, that is Hindu or Christian. It is not about caste, Your Lordship. It is about religious sect. Sect means something like Shakti cult, then Shaivites. They are religious denomination, Your Lordship. With reference to this, it can be clearly stated that the whole issue number 1 is not proper, and that issue number 1 on the relief parade is wrong, Your Lordship. Secondly, Your Lordship, Your Lordship, I would like to refer to their memorial page number 22, Your Lordship. Your Lordship, in the case they have stated, Champakam Dorai Rajan was the state of Mysore. Here the last word ending in the page number 22, it is stated that caste merely on the grounds that they belong to a particular religion or caste. So do they accept that why don't they allow the cremation then? It is not religion and caste, it is religion or caste. There's clearly no differentiation that is done, Your Lordship. And in another case of Devrajya versus Padmana, referred to in the page number 24. Here it is said that it is in the literal or grammatical sense, but then they say that literal or grammatical sense, but it is a practice that is from historical sense. And then they contradict their own, saying that it can be undoubtedly said that untouchability has something to do with caste system and discrimination on the body. So do they accept that they are performing some kind of discrimination? Your Lordship, I would like to refer to the prayer where they have mentioned in the third relief that there is no infringement of rights of fundamental rights guaranteed under Article 15, 17 and 21 and 25. They were this, when stating earlier, they said that they do not oppose decent burial, but they have said that here there is no infringement of decent burial rights. And also, the fourth relief states that the village administrator and the district collector have not acted against their duty. So do they say that they are not performing their duty and breaching the duty is fine? To end up with, we would like to state that the petitioner's counsel is not doubtful about the religion of the deceased. We have no way tried to establish that she is not a Christian. We have neither said that she had any intentions of reconversion. If there was any intention of reconversion, at least a move would have been made. Whereas these points are not either highlighted or mentioned in our memorials, Your Lordship. To conclude with, Your Lordship, there are various Your Lordship, in the speaker, when he started, he mentioned that they should have approached special courts, Your Lordship. So does this mean that they accept that she is still practicing her previous caste identity? This is another question I would like to ask the respondents' counsel, Your Lordship.
You have a
The opposition of learned counsel mentioned that the relief sought by the petitioner in the matter of Christian burial ground is different from what is normally observed in the Christian religion. However, relief sought by the petitioner in respect to the facts of the present case, Your Lordship, it clearly states that the deceased needs to be buried in the Christian burial ground and not cremated, which is not well within the religious practice of Christianity, Your Lordship. It is not going against the religious practices of the profession, the religious Christianity, Your Lordship. Furthermore, Your Lordship, it is submitted humbly before the Honourable Court that in the Supreme Court case that has been binding on the present Honourable Court, in the case of Mohammed Siddiqui, which is of year 2016, it has clearly been established that the caste identity is linked to birth and not to the conversion of the religion. Furthermore, Your Lordship, they were also the respondents were also silent in the matter of disposal of the body and did not recognize the decent burial aspect, Your Lordship, in this present case. Much obliged, Your Lordship.
Relating to the issue that they put forth, religious denomination, we never meant the Mahaprasthanam Seva Samiti and the church committee are religious denomination by themselves. We just wanted to put forth an argument that they are formed under a religious denomination which grants them rights under Article 26, Your Lordship. Moving on to the caste or religion-based discrimination. Here, Your Lordship, the caste, they've quoted SC/ST Act and Article 17. It is very clear from the presidential order and the definition of scheduled caste that a person ceases to be a scheduled caste on the conversion. So there cannot be any caste-based discrimination on its instance itself, Your Lordship. And they still stick on to the fact that caste continues with them even after conversion, even when the law of the land clearly says not so. And regarding the religion, discrimination based on religion, here, Your Lordship, they are continuously trying to prove the point that she is Christian. If so, they should have prayed burial in Christian burial ground, which is not something that they have did. They prove the point that they are Christian, that she is a Christian, and they still ask for cremation in Hindu burial ground, which itself is in contradictory nature. Also, Your Lordship, argument that was put forth that the respondents did not care about decent burial of the corpse. Your Lordship, we are really concerned about decent burial of the mortal remains of Sita Ma. That is why we are willing to take up the responsibility, as already stated by the council many times in our arguments, that we are ready to take up the responsibility on ourselves and we ensure decent burial, but we only say that it cannot be in Hindu burial ground or the Christian burial ground. Regarding reconversion, Your Lordship, they said there is no reconversion. Here, their arguments, their prayer and the contents of their memorandum are contradiction with each of them in itself, Your Lordship. If Your Lordship has no grounds, the council will conclude.